Hi guys, welcome back to the Unpopular Opinion. Okay, let's do that again. Hi guys, welcome back to the Unpopular Opinion.
Real, raw,
And we're saying it all. So today we're going to be talking about something that has actually been really requested, at least on my end, on my page, and people are tired of being ashamed for things, different things, to be honest. And today we're getting into those things. What are they? And we'd love to actually hear from you in the comments. So let us know. But in the meantime, Prim, what's the first one? You're tired of being shamed for?
I feel like first of all, I would want us to talk about the depth of shame. That sometimes it's not even other people shaming you. I feel like we shame ourselves more than other people, right? It's how we easily and quickly give forgiveness to everyone else. And I'm judging this slowly because I feel like I'm so cute and so cute. I hope the camera is getting
You
this.
are quite cute.
Because I'm just like laid back,
You
a
are
cute
quite
person.
cute.
I hope the camera is getting this. That's why I'm just judging in an accent slowly so I look like a guest speaker. Anyway, now back to me, myself, not the guest speaker. Anyway, it's how we easily forgive other people and we don't forgive ourselves. Most times that's like the harshest thing. So we always shame ourselves for the things that we did when we didn't know better. Have you heard of that thing of forgive yourself for the things that you did when you didn't know any better? Yeah. So I feel like before we even go into how the world has shamed us, we need to talk about the things that we shame ourselves for. We need to turn inwards. It could be the let's say that you never got to be a doctor, you never got to be an engineer, you didn't become what your parents wanted you to become, and they had groomed you in say your father's shoes, your father the lawyer, and you're just there and then you're just ashamed. Then so many things that we struggle with, right? But so I want us to all first pause up and take a moment for ourselves, and I don't know, if possible we need to work through the shame that we feel for ourselves. It's okay, it's different when the world is shaming you. You can choose to turn it off, you can go through it, but it's so rough when it's you doing it to yourself. So anyway, when we go back to the things that we are ashamed for, that we are totally tired of, is how this whole my age mates are this and that, my age mates are doing this and that, or your age mates are married, your age mates have children, and then there's you. Your age mates drive, your age mates have homes, and you have to, as if forever, hide your head, keep it under that, oh, so and so died, but you cannot go for the vigil. People, people are celebrating milestones, but you can't go because you feel like it's embarrassing that you're the one who will walk in while everyone else drives in. So I feel like the world shames us for not achieving certain physical material things, and that just needs to stop. Everyone has their different path in life, and it's funny, there are some people who will not even can you believe there's an age of yours who will die without driving a car, and that's okay. That's very okay. There's an age mate of yours who will die without taking their children to certain schools, and that should be okay.
Yeah. When you talked about things that we shame ourselves for, I remember for the longest time I was just there's a certain relationship that I just attached so much shame to, and on me instead of the other person. I just attached so much shame. How did I let this person come into my life and even stay? How did I allow them to do this or do that? It was me that I was angry with, and I was so just ashamed, unforgiving of myself, and just how, what was, and it took a minute. Actually, it took a minute, and I think we carry a lot of that stuff out of relationships. I don't know how it works for guys, but I think for women, a lot of the time we come out thinking, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
It's what's wrong with me, what's wrong with me? I don't, I remember being with someone, and then when that didn't work out, I remember sitting with my best friend, I'm like, sis, I think there's something wrong with me.
remember
Like, this
that
guy
phase,
is so
yeah.
nice. How come me I failed to be
why
with
is
a
it
nice
me?
guy? What's wrong with me? And she was like, babe, there
he
are
was
lots of
nice.
nice guys.
Nice guys.
who
He
are
was
not
nice
right.
by society
They're
standards.
not
You remember?
right by you.
He was nice by everyone else. Saying,
Well,
"Oh my
even
God, he's nice."
by my standards, to be fair, he was genuinely
nice.
a
He
nice
was-
guy. It's just that there are so many nice people, but not all of them are the right person
No,
for
they're
you.
not, yeah.
Not all of them. You're
And
going to meet
that's
nice
okay.
people who are not the right people.
Yeah.
But we are always so quick to like be like, oh my God, there's something
It's
wrong with
my
me.
fault.
There's something wrong with me, and
Yeah,
you're just
no
so
one-
ashamed of like, "Malanga, it's me
Yeah.
who has a problem." And it doesn't help, of course, that there's always, as much as, I don't know, I think the myth is that when you're confident, you don't have those moments when things break down.
Yeah.
Like the things that happen and you start to doubt yourself.
Yourself, yeah.
Because I'm very confident and comfortable in where I am in my life. But then in those moments when I'm feeling like there's something wrong with me, all the voices come back of, you're even not
Do you
married.
even remember? Do you remember this
In your
person? They
30s.
wanted to marry you and you still said no.
And then you're
Even
like,
this one.
I tell you, they lower
Yeah.
your standards.
that's where it begins.
Are your standards too high? Are you having too many expectations?
Right.
And we are our harshest critics, by the way. The
Absolutely.
voice, the committee that sits in our heads is tougher than the committee that
anywhere
sits outside
else,
our
yes.
heads. Yes.
I feel like before we even go into shame, let's first understand what shame is. You know, in my understanding, I feel like shame is such a social construct. Now, there's shame for doing what's clearly wrong. That's different. If you steal, shame on you, 100%. But if you make a decision to, let's say, do a job, a specific job, is that right? Is that wrong? Why are we being shamed? You know, if it's a lifestyle, if it's a lifestyle choice, or if it's something to do with how you feel, like shame, people who do wrong things, yes. If you do something wrong, absolutely, there's shame there. But if not, that's why I say it's a social construct, and that social shame is that what I'm talking about. Absolutely, if I steal, please shame me 100%. You know, it's shameful to be stealing. That's fine. Maybe I'll learn from it. That's okay. But then there are things that we shame people for. Personally, I've been shamed a lot by my career choice. I chose to be a teacher.
Oh, yes.
Hey, you shall not shame me for choosing to be a preschool teacher. You shall not.
Yeah.
On what deal?
And
Like
yet-
and society has made it seem like
Yeah.
it's such a low career.
Yeah.
Is there anything low about me? Do you see anything low about me?
Your
Yeah?
earrings.
My earrings are
Your
fantastic.
earrings are these ends on the chest.
Do you get what like I will not let society tell me who I am or lower me or lower my standard just because of a career I chose. You get so, and by the way, that was one of the things that the deciding factors. So I did law to begin with. The first year of uni, we went to India, my sister and I, and we did law. And because when I said I wanted to be a teacher, everyone was like, why? So you go to school all those years and you pass high school and you want to be a teacher?
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone would tell us that. And I was like, when I went to law school, I hated it, absolutely hated it. I respect people who went through law school. Boring. I was bored. So when we quit, we quit law school, my sister and I did teaching. Both of us did teaching, actually. And I absolutely loved. For the first time in a classroom, I was attentive. I was listening. For the first time in my entire life, it was something I really enjoyed. And I really love my work as a teacher, although I don't do it as much now because growth and stuff like that. Somehow you get out of the classroom and do other things. But I love my career very much. And I feel like teachers just deserve some kind of medal.
Yes, everything in
Yes,
this world.
and I feel like if
They've
people
shaped us
stopped
truly.
looking down
Down
on
on
teachers, the quality of teachers would go
be
up.
better.
Would go up.
The quality of teacher training would go
The
up,
quality
which
of
means
education.
the quality of education would go up, which means
The
the
quality of the human
of-
beings we are raising
Thank you.
would go up.
Thank you.
Thank
Why
you
are
so
we
much for
going
saying that.
abroad to other hospitals? You get why are we going abroad to other hospitals?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
what's
that-
wrong? What's happening with the teachers teaching the
Yeah.
people that are treating us
Yeah.
in the hospitals?
Yeah.
You know, and it starts from without a preschool teacher, you'll never have a
Yeah.
doctor. You know, so I was like, you know what? Listen, the economy needs me. The country needs people like me.
You're right.
I'm not being shamed for what I do.
Preach.
Amen.
I know like that when we're going through high school, remember how when someone would say get like 2 principal passes or like 1 principal pass, I'd be like, you know what, just let them go and do a Duke. Like as if how people used to say, oh
Yeah.
they failed S4.
Yeah.
Just let them do nursing.
Yeah.
And you guys, I've been like, I was in hospital last year for like a whole 3 months, and I'll
And the
never forget
nursing-
how nurses
are the ones who help
Oh,
save your
nurses
life.
are the ones who saved my life. Like a doctor would come and say, give her this, give her that. Nurses are the ones that made sure that every day at 2 a.m., at midnight, she's awake and I'm receiving my dose of medicine. At 4 a.m., the ones that they just threw there of, you know what, let her just go and be a nurse. Or you know what, just take her and she does midwife. You know, but they are bringing lives into
The
this
world,
world.
yeah.
Like, do you know how critical that
Like
moment
in
of
other
birth
countries,
is?
you cannot just be a
It's
teacher,
not
a
just-
nurse, or
yeah.
Anyhow.
You can't.
This country has done it so well, like of shaming people for certain careers.
Careers.
While they saw it with like, you know, oh, you're not a doctor, or you're not, or like they underlooked, you know, certain. So I know that people that got into a Duke, especially in our years, got into education
'Cause they
out
didn't
of
like
bitterness,
it.
Like
out
last
of
resort.
failing,
And yet
and
it
last
should be the
resort.
other way around.
They should
The
choose it.
output would be
They
so
should
much
choose
better.
it.
Yeah,
It's
it's true.
something that you should choose. The way you fight to choose law or engineering, or
It should be the same.
it should be the same.
Yeah, it should be something you truly want to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to talk about is when you talked about that, it gave me like, it triggered the fact that, you know how people shame the children that do not perform as well as other
Put up
children
your
in
hand
class?
up.
Let's
if you
talk
did not
about
perform
it.
well in school.
Let's talk about it.
Not ashamed.
Yeah, but like it was
was a
you may have
thing,
grown up in
yeah.
an environment where they were allowing you to thrive
was a
regardless,
thing,
but it
yeah.
was a big thing. You're the
course
one
it was.
who is at the bottom of the what?
Yes. Do you know that schools would even form streams where they put
Yeah, the
the
best.
brilliant ones alone and
was like that even in
the
high
others
school.
alone? But do you know what's funny? Why were they? You know, you can't judge a human being's brilliance based on
100
Class
plus,
alone.
100
SST, science,
academics
math,
alone.
and English. You can't. Like,
Yeah.
you have no right
Terrible
to.
system.
Because
It's a terrible
peop-
system.
Thank you. Very terrible system.
really bad.
Because these people are so. It's like judging a fish and an elephant, like in the same race.
Yeah.
Two totally different things.
Yeah.
And you know how those children grow up very shamed? Like, even in class, you'd see how they don't fit in.
Like it presses you down.
It presses you down because you're like, oh, what can I say? You know, like all the way through school,
Yeah.
you meet them as adults and they're trying to as if hide. They're trying
Yeah.
to, you know, do corners because, well, you were the brilliant one.
You were
and
taught
them, they were
to
the
swim
other
like a
ones.
fish, kumbe you're an elephant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You were an elephant and you were meant to walk on ground. It's like, oh my goodness, this is a very
We should do a whole
this is such
whole
on the,
episode
our
on
education.
education
It's true.
because
It's pressed down like a lot of people, and
Yeah.
anyway, it affects, like you were saying, it affects the quality of now.
the
The
output.
adults we are
Yeah.
now and what we are contributing to the economy, to
Yeah.
communities, to our families. Like it just because you become insecure and just uncomfortable in who you are.
Yeah.
And,
You're lost. I mean, you go home and your parents themselves just feel like,
it's pas-
oh, wow, this child, yeah, like why can't you just be like so and
Like
so?
so and so,
Remember, you have
banana,
cousins who are excelling. You have cousins who are. Why don't you be like your cousins?
I
so
take
and so?
cousins, even on the report, whoever is the first, why don't you be like this one?
This
Actually,
one.
let me shout out Shem Opolot. Bananga, our parents sang Opolot. Why can't you be like Opolot? He's the first. Why can't you? Bananga Shem, you were the first from P1 up to P7. Thank you so much. Every time, why can't you be like Opolot? Banang.
Like they ask you if you're not getting the same breakfast.
Yeah.
that
Are
he
you
gets.
not eating what he eats?
Do you know what?
Do you
I
not-
know someone, I don't know who told me this, but I know someone who told his parents, were you the first in your class? And
they stayed in
why
that
were
house?
you not? Yeah, I mean, these days, I don't, and it's a parent, by the way, who, wow, what the other was it? Anyway, I just remember a story. I don't remember who told it to me. But the truth is, parents, when you are comparing your children to other children, yeah,
Okay, so compare you.
compare yourself. Were you
Other
also the
parents,
first in your
yes.
class? Compare yourself, please. Like, it's fair. If you're going to compare me as your child to Fiona, who was the first, and me, for me, I was the last or the fifth or whatever, please compare yourself. If you're a lawyer, why are you not a justice? Why? You get what I mean? Like, let's
shouldn't even
be
require all
fair.
that.
Do you know? No, but if you put it into perspective, why are you shaming your children for being who they are? I was terrible at maths. I was actually, I don't know if you had, your next point was, you finished your next point.
No, it was it
That.
was at home. Yeah, education.
So I'm dyslexic, and I have dyscalculia. I see dyslexia. Anyway, so both of them are issue. I have issues reading, writing, and I have issues with maths. So I will see a letter B and I will see D or P or whatever. My mind just decides. So I was terrible in school. Terrible. I will learn pictorially and I will learn in stories. So I loved languages. I loved language. I loved language because I could speak it. So you get it. It was more of a speech thing. It's the reading. I was terrible at spellings. I'm good with grammar, but terrible with spelling. So I failed a lot. I loved history. Because I'd remember. But then all the essays were terrible spelling. But because I was dyslexic, I was terrible with academics. Academics told me I was stupid. I would actually assure you I am not stupid. I'm quite intelligent.
Not quite. You are brilliant.
You get. I'm brilliant in my own right. You get. But academics, according to academics, I was that person in S5 who got 1 point. Yeah? Like at some point, my parents were like, okay, binobi ganye. I got 1 point in S5 at the end of S5. And that was me because it was just so much. I couldn't comprehend everything, all the mathematics and reading that I had to do. Anyway, so even now, I'm pretty sure if you follow me on social media, you'll see that my spellings are completely atrocious. My spelling is atrocious, and every now and then someone corrects them, and then I tell them that I'm dyslexic, and they come back with their apology. That's neither here nor there. But I'm done. There's a point where I will not be. I got where I will not be shamed for my academic, for my dyslexia. You get? I was ashamed a lot in school. But Nanga was ashamed a lot in school. First of all, no one knew I had dyslexia.
Do you think also the shame comes from a lack of knowledge? Because also in ignorance, someone will say something to you without the knowledge of even what dyslexia is. Maybe they've even heard you say it and they don't know what it means.
I remember I also once laughed at your spelling sometime. In the very beginning, and I remember you mentioned it, and oh my goodness.
You felt bad, I know. I know, most people
that's the
would
first time
do.
that I ever heard of it, actually. That's the first time I ever heard of dyslexia. That's the first time I ever, and I remember you explained to me, so that what happens is this and that and that. So lately, I actually don't even...
You don't even see it anymore,
I don't see it anymore. It's just, I will even read the right word. Because most times you just switch like an R with an E or, you know. So most times I just read the word and continue. But I don't know how it is like for you to have someone coming to correct you every now and then.
Every day there's someone correcting
I think you mean fry, not fly. I think you mean the spelling and not
Claire. There's some people who even put meanness in it. Claire, with all that lozungu you can't even spell. Honestly, you will be blocked. You shall be blocked. Let us not be mean.
I think also ignorance. I think the more we talk about stuff, the more normal we can make it, and people maybe can be more aware of how they're speaking to people. Because I'm sure people say those things over where they think it's real funny of like this kind of mistake, and then you just no big deal.
But
they don't.
Funny.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
That's true.
So I think there's a lot of ignorance.
But I think
a lot of things.
The one thing I wanted to say is mostly to parents and teachers. Children, don't shame your children for not being academically gifted. Find their gift. That is the most important part. My dad wanted me to go to Nollywood and act in Nigerian movies. That's how much he knew where my talent was. Now I can't. Right now I forgot how to act. So maybe if I retrain, I don't know. But I used to be really good at acting. I haven't done it in over a decade. But my dad knew where my strength was. In a way, my dad knew that I went teaching. If he knew about this show, he would be so proud. You know, actually, when I think of how far we've come, I just think of him. He would be so proud. And my parents both always used to say, listen, find what you're good at. So they really did try to help us and support us in what we're good at. Whether or not they agreed with it, they supported us all the time. So parents, please support your children. Help them find their gifts. Help them find what they're good at. Stop shaming them. Don't let other people shame them either. Not teachers, not aunties, nothing.
Speaking of aunties, we can't talk about shame and not talk about bodies. Because it's like African aunties have the title deed to all bodies. All bodies.
You're either too skinny or too fat.
There's always like something's got to.
Right.
it's always some type of way.
Yeah.
And like, I will never forget that I remember I was at my smallest when I lived in Nairobi. Not because I wasn't enjoying life, but you know, oh my God, you've lost weight, are you fine? I'm like, no, I'm actually really great. But we used to walk a lot. It's a very like metro city. There's lots of traffic. We're always walking. And we're students. We're always walking. I remember this one guy, and you guys, people need to, I don't know if sometimes people are unaware, or I don't know what's going on in some people's minds when they say some things. And this guy was proclaiming love for me on the mountaintops and all of these things. And this same guy, I remember we're in a public setting, we were like 4 or 5 people. And this guy, I remember I stood up over to do something. I said that I was looking cute. And this person says to me, but she was so skinny, as if those refugees over, I'm like,
I remember you've talked about this before, but it's still shocking.
it will never not be shocking. Even now I have
Still
goosebumps.
shocking.
I remember I just went along my business, but I remember even like, it was his cousin or something who pulled me aside and was like, I'm so sorry that man has just said that to you. And the weird thing, also me, I was so confident. Because it's only when she told me and I was like, that wasn't a very nice thing to say.
You didn't realize before.
I think I didn't. I kept it, like I just threw it far away. And I was like, actually that was such a terrible thing to say. And I wondered, like, how do you go around shaming people like that? Like, for you, what's your agenda? I don't even, and it takes so much time to work through these things, especially as women. We already have so many insecurities we'll be battling. And then you have to, and then there's this whole other layer of other people. You're already battling your own things of, I don't know this, my hair, my this, my this sport, this scar, and then also other people are like, I'm going to help you and raise you even further on this mountain of insecurities. Yeah, wherever you are, I'm going to just add for you more, and you continue on this
In
path.
case you thought that was already enough, that was...
I'm like, can we just be better
I'm here to
people?
remind
Can
you,
we be kinder? You don't, like, you could
kinder?
think all other things. We're all people and we all have negative thoughts and what, but what makes you want to say it out loud to make someone feel bad? Like, on what grounds? Can we just be kinder? I don't think we should ever stop reminding people to be kinder.
I feel like on that same point of body shaming, I was bigger than my sister growing up. Not much. It was just, she was really little and we were always the same age and stuff. And people used to tell me I eat her food.
Yes, I knew that. Like, this is the
tell
one
me
eating the
I eat
other
her
one's food.
Yeah, but now, Claire, stop eating your sister's food. So she was shamed for being little, smaller than me. We were both very healthy children.
Yeah.
It's just I was a few sizes bigger and she was smaller. I was not fat. I've never been fat. So I was never fat when I was a child anyway. So she was body shamed for being small. I was body shamed for being fat. And I remember my mom having to tell people off because I was getting anorexic as a teenager.
Yeah.
So my mom really protected me in that way. You guys, when it comes to, I will be those moms. I will be those moms who tells people, you don't need to talk to my daughter like that. You get? And I will tell you why. These kids are teenagers. What are you doing? Talking about their weight. You get? They're kids.
Yeah.
And they eat because their bodies need the food.
They need the food, yeah. And they play a lot
They
and they're
play
working
a lot.
it off,
It's
yes.
not like they're fat. It's
It
just
shouldn't even
that
matter.
they
Like,
play.
they're just human
They're
beings
kids.
doing their things. Leave them alone.
You know, and teenagers are so sensitive. Actually, just generally, women are sensitive. Even men. Even men. When you tell a man he's fat, he's not going to show you, but he'll feel bad.
Yeah. It's a
Generally,
sensitive
people,
thing.
It's not nice.
It's your
It's
body.
just not nice.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I loved the fact that my mother protected us and didn't allow us to be shamed. That's why I've always kind of mostly been confident in my body.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me, you have a beautiful body. You get? And for that reason, I made a conscious decision. Even now, when my child is still young, you talk about her skin color, you talk about her hair, you talk about her body, because people always say, Bambi, your child is so skinny, but you're so fat.
People say that in real life.
Yeah, people have told it to me.
That's so nasty.
People have told it to me. That is so nasty.
Also, it's none of your business.
I'm like, you get what I mean? The first time I was told it, I was in so much shock. I was in so much shock that someone had compared my baby to me. Like, how do you compare an adult? Anyway, body shaming must stop.
Yeah. So me, I feel like another thing that we shame is people living difficult situations.
Talk about it.
Say a man has been in like a toxic marriage with someone, a woman has been in a toxic marriage with someone, and we quickly judge them, or let's say they've dated 2 people or 3 people since then, and we're just like,
every time.
but it's you.
It's you.
Whether that one.
But there must be something wrong with that
There
person.
must be something wrong with you.
Or something like, but you're still seeing at 40. It must be you the problem. You must be the problem. There must be a problem.
It's a mess. It's why people stay in bad situations. Society has all this pressure. You know, how can you leave what? How can you? People are in marriages being beaten, emotionally abused, year after year after year, and you're telling them, you know, you have to stay because. As in, there's trying. Of course, there's working to make things work, but there's a place where you're falling apart. You're not even a person anymore.
Like, have you ever stopped to think that you could be the problem? That you could, like, what's the common denominator with all these people?
And that thing, there's one common denominator.
You're the one.
People make you feel like you're just...
Even when you're not like, just not even like dating, they're like, don't you think you're just too picky?
Yeah.
Have you tried to like...
Shame.
Yeah, have you tried to maybe...
Can you imagine high standards are shameful?
Yes, because at like 30, you cannot afford to be making such choices.
Accept
the
rubbish. Accept the rubbish.
Of like even having a standard is a shameful thing. So it's like, so what do you want from me? What should I be?
And you make a choice. You know, you make a choice. If you fear shame, society's shame, you make a choice, a wrong choice, just because you don't want to be shamed for that thing society usually shamed you for. Like getting married. You decide, okay, fine, this is my last chance. Before I'm 30, I'm going to get married. You get, because if you're unmarried after 30, society deems it shameful to be unmarried, because then you're going to remember all the people that people used to say to my friends. Some friends I have that are not married. Like you're going to when you get to 30, you're going to remember all those guys.
We remember them, but we don't regret.
You're going to remember those guys, but you know, when you're younger, you don't know it.
Christ, eat this in remembrance
of me.
We remember them.
So it's just shaming by circumstances, circumstances. And another thing I feel like is important, release yourself from being shamed by what society think you should do with your life.
I feel like it's really mostly an us thing.
True. Yeah. It always comes back.
It's a social construct.
It comes back down to you and how you feel about it. And that's why self-love is a gospel that should never stop being preached. Like we'll never hear enough of self-love. Because every time you need to be reminded. Like you're there, you're feeling that, and then you find a season in your life where you're, I don't know, things are discouraging you. You're, I don't know, things are just not thingsing, and you need a reminder that, by the way, you need to love yourself, you need to pour into yourself so that you can even have what to give others, because it's like the world, an adulting in particular, will just take you, and then one day you're confident, 1 month down the road you're feeling like you're just a rag. It's a never-ending process, but I hope we all can find like self-love and make it like a... Actually, now I'm thinking of the episode we did about I'm too old for something. I think we're too old to not be prioritizing like our wellness mentally, physically, because those things will ultimately also determine how you deal with societal about what, even you, your own shame and what. Are you taking time to, if you need therapy, are you investing in therapy? Just like how you set aside money for a car. Are you setting aside time for therapy so that you can deal with all these shame and, I don't know, all those 1 million
whatever
things, all your stuff.
By the way, whatever you're feeling inside of you can be helped and fixed with therapy.
Yeah, and it's a process. Be kind to yourself.
And by the way, on that note, people are always asking us for therapists, list of therapists. We can't really recommend, can we?
I have a list in my highlights on Instagram.
Fiona's highlights if you need a therapist.
Tag mental health. There's like a list that you could check out. They're all like different psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, etc. You can check it out and see. Have somewhere to start.
I think for me, this would be my last thing, the shame of failure. Like, I always tell people that you can always start over again. You can always start over and over again, and as many times as it takes. Yeah. Like, I'm those people who believe that if everything failed, I am not past going back home, carrying my things, and going back home and starting from there. Yes. Like, now what can I do different? What can I do? Where can I start from, you know? And just like starting over. And I will do that until I'm 90, until I'm ready. Like, I'll always start over in whatever situation in my life. Amen. But this fear of like, if I fail, I'm going to be ashamed, people are going to laugh, and then what?
You know,
Then what's going to happen?
They laugh and then what?
Yeah.
then what?
Then what? Like, what happens next? You understand? And then another thing that I fear regret, but like I've released myself from the shame of you know what ego does, of vulnerability, the shame of being vulnerable. I released myself from that. Like before, I would not have, you know, like a difficult conversation where I ask you, where do I lie? Like, I'm not afraid of looking needy to you. You understand? Where do I lie in your life? Like, if it's a relationship where I probably love this man, I am not past saying, where do I lie? I'm not even past saying you, I love you. Please, like, choose me. I'm not saying choose me from, you know, other women or whatever, but like, please love me. And then you say no, and no, I will not die.
Yeah.
I am not ashamed of telling you I love you and I really wish you would give us a chance.
Yeah.
I am not ashamed of saying I love you and I like, please forgive me. You understand? Like, there's no shame in asking for forgiveness. People like have been shamed in like
And especially I think it applies for men and trying to, they're examples of what masculinity looks like, and yet masculinity doesn't need to be that hard. I'm so solid. I don't have. It's a lie. It's a lie they've been told.
Yeah. So people being shamed for, like, you know, did you see that photo that went around of that guy who was kneeling in like a hostel room in Moku was asking, and people were laughing and shaming him.
And guys dragged him.
Yeah, people dragged him.
Guys dragged him.
People dragged him. But I feel like I'm not ashamed of going down on my knees like that guy. I'm just like asking someone to please forgive me or something like that. I'm not.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. I think when you get to a point where you can, like, you're not ashamed of, bringing yourself down like that. Because even in a relationship, like, you need to be able to like be of service. Like, I am here, I am your servant, and we serve each other. Like, without ego, without any of that stuff. Yeah. It's, I mean, how else can you do it? Like, literally put yourself in that.
In your relationships. It recently happened with like a colleague, and she came to tell me there's this thing that you do, and you did it last time, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I thought it was a joke. She's like, no, I know that you thought it was a joke, but it offended me in such and such a way. You guys, you should have seen me. I was just like, I'm so sorry. Why didn't you tell me the first time that I said it? Why didn't you call me out the very first time? She's like, no, now I'm telling you. I'm like, no, but you're telling me when you're like this, when you're hurt like this, because I could tell with the way she was talking, it's something that had hurt her like over and over again. And like, I wish you had told me the very first time I said it, that, you know what, this is not a joke to make. This makes me feel sensitive in a way. And she's like, I've been through this, and I wouldn't want someone to make a joke like this, because for me it, and yes, it could be like a general joke, but because of different experiences in our lives, we react to these things differently. Yeah. So I feel like I kept saying, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that I made you feel this way. But you know that the old me would just catch feelings of shit. For you can't take a joke. For you think you joke with others. You say these things to others.
You should have told me.
Yes. The pride just takes do you think you're special? Oh, does she think she's like this and that?
Yeah.
That's something,
Yeah. I think even on like the failure, like, we're so afraid of failing as adults, but we fail every day. It's okay. And it's not even failure. If you look at it as failure, for me, I don't look at failure as failure, by the way, generally speaking, 90% of the time. 10%, I'd be like, I'm such a failure. But generally speaking, the way it's important to realize that failure is also a social construct.
Because you're failing
as
opposed to what? You get? Yeah. You're failing against societal expectations.
Things like you're supposed to have a car by 35 and a home and a what, and you're supposed to be married. So whose are their standards? Like whose standard that was written.
But I guess even when, like maybe you set out to do X, maybe you wanted to invest in something, and then maybe you made a mistake and did something wrong and lost money, and you count it as a failure. I think those things should just be more of lessons. Yes. Of course, you're allowed to feel disappointed, sad, but I think ultimately after you've done that, to not sit in it forever. To be like, okay, I learned this. How do I become now a better person from that? Because risks, you have to take risks in this life, and you're going to fail. And then you learn and you do better tomorrow.
My next one is I am done being shamed for moving loudly. I think that's what we
Living
say.
out loud.
Living out
Yes.
loud.
I love that.
Done. You are not shaming me.
Yeah.
I choose to live my life loudly.
Yeah.
Yes.
In
I
colour.
make my decisions loudly. I fail loudly, and that's okay. I win loudly, dears.
So,
You know,
moving silent.
not me
please.
as Kombi. No.
I am going to
no.
move with drums.
I don't like it.
trumpets,
It makes me extremely uncomfortable.
gongs.
I am going to announce something, and I'm going to fail at it, and you're all going to see it. And I'm going to learn from it, and you're all going to see it. I'm going to grow from it, and you're all going to see it. I feel like, why? Because if we saw this kind of thing growing up,
Yeah. Would be more comfortable
Be so
with.
different.
we would be
Certain
life would be different. Our experience with life would be so much different. You get, I see a lot of younger women coming and saying we've taught them something because of the way we live, and we've decided to put our lives out there. You know, I tell you my story. If I failed, I failed. As much as I'm comfortable, obviously.
Yeah.
There's lots I don't say, but But there are things I'm comfortable with, and I'm like, listen, someone is going to be helped with this.
Yeah.
If the next generation see us failing and getting back up and see, okay, I failed here, I learned this, I've grown like this through that lesson.
Yeah. We didn't
We
present
will-
perfection.
Thank you. That's, by the way, the reason I do it. First of all, it makes me uncomfortable. Secrets just
Imagine if
don't
our
make me
parents used to
comfortable.
tell us that, oh, by the way, I was not always number one in class.
Can you imagine?
We
I
would
was
feel
not
so...
always, I didn't.
We would
I
feel
wanted
so
to become a doctor,
validated.
but as you can see, I'm now a teacher.
yeah.
But I'm taking care of you. I'm raising you. I wanted to become an engineer, but I'm now a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And I'm raising you, and it's how you manage to, being present for you. Like, those stay-at-home moms is another job that the world has shown.
Yeah. By the
It's
way,
a very important
it's
thing.
important.
It's a
by
very,
the way,
very important thing.
And it's a calling. I feel, which is why I said stop. We need to stop thinking that stay-at-home moms have failed. Women who are working hard have failed.
They failed at marriage and making home.
They're working hard, and they say, by the way, you
women
independent
cannot
women who are go make your own money, you're going to
cannot
fail
win
at
anything.
marriage.
They failed at, Amakaga Mulema, she was too busy
was
chasing
too
her
busy
career.
money.
Then a stay-at-home mom stays at home and leaves the career.
Oh,
She
the
became a
husband
failure.
got to,
A
the
degree for
husband.
nothing.
You
can't
That man
win.
will leave her.
You really
That man will
can't
leave
win.
her.
We have so many things. We need to be sexy. We need to be a good cook. Then you also have to be the best employee. Then you
You have to be a whore in the sheets, remember? You have to
mom.
be
Of course,
good
you have to
with
be
sex
sexy.
every night.
It's like, Manang, the things are many. Something has
Just
got to
just
give.
in one day alone, you wake up, you're a mom, you're the wife, you're the whatever you are in your career, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it's in business. Then you have your mother calls you have to do A, B, C, and D. You have to do your nails, you have to get your eyebrows done. You have to remember to even put a lipstick on, let alone choose your earrings. Which earrings is going to match well with your outfit before you even choose the outfit. Then you choose the shoes, then the bag, just before you leave home. This is before 8 a.m. You get, and then the rest of the things we must take care of. Manang, this is why I'm saying, listen, if you ever meet me and my feet looks like they'll scratch the sheets, please turn the other way. It means I have chosen another thing.
That day.
That
You chose
day.
something else to be the focus line.
Yeah.
Something else is more important than my cracky feet. That's it. Am I lying? No. We have to like if you ever see me at the hair, the growth is where the growth. It just means that month, either my child was sick or my husband needed what or something else was more important that month because
And
you
it's just
literally
real.
have
It's just life.
you can't. It's impossible to do everything equal the way women are expected to.
Yeah.
Do. Any more from you? I think I have the one more. It's being bold as a woman.
I kind of feel, isn't that also living out loud?
Living out loud, I think, is more like showing my mistakes and stuff. It's okay to be bold. This is going to be very brief, and because I know a lot of women come to me and they're like, I remind them so much of themselves, and they haven't got the bold, they want to speak out and stuff, and they don't have the courage. I didn't either. A few years ago, I didn't, and I just want to say it's okay. Stop being shamed. Don't allow people to shame you for how God created you. Yeah, because at some point you're going to have to answer to what you did with the strengths that God gave you. And boldness is a strength. It's not a weakness. So don't ever let anyone to make you think that it is. Yeah.
Well, this is such a great conversation.
It was.
And we definitely want to hear from you guys about the things you've been shamed for, and I don't know, maybe our comments can be a section where we can also just encourage each other. And also shout out to all the people who really come to, like people who watch the entire video. You know, when you see this person watched the
On this
entire
second,
video.
on this,
And then they have a whole, man, we
Comment.
appreciate you and we
Bullets.
see you.
We really
Thank
love you
you.
guys.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Please do subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, outfit details are in the description box.
Okay. Bye for real.
Bye.